I had a video of him and this younger buck locked up. Then 2 days later, I got a picture with the younger buck's eye socket. You saw the picture, completely bloody, eye
Yeah.
gone. But I'd love to have a study where they're like, how many does, like if there's, I'm just hypothetically, let's just use this, 15 does that frequent my ridges. Like, how many of those does does he really breed?
It's a good question.
If somebody could do a study like that, like you could collar my buck and collar the does. I know this is a pipe dream, but
Yeah.
they could probably do it to an abbreviated scale because that would tell you how much time he's up on his feet looking for the next one,
Right.
right? You hear everybody say, "Oh, he's the dominant buck." Okay, yeah, he probably is, but
He's only got
how
one
dominant
dick.
is he? That's great.
Welcome to the Just Hunt podcast.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Just Hunt podcast. This is episode number 46. And tonight we have my buddy from Southern Indiana, Joe Boesing. We go way back. And good to get you on. I've been kind of waiting for a good time to talk about some management stuff and the old days. And tonight's the night.
Yeah, glad to be on.
Yeah. So, like a lot of the people we know in this industry, we met through Midwest Whitetail back in the, what year would that have been?
Man, I probably messaged you. I'm guessing it was probably like 2014 would be my guess,
Yeah.
maybe 13.
Yeah, somewhere around
I
that
was
time frame.
terrible at videoing. Messaged Brett
Yeah.
for some
Oh, is that what it
advice
was? I
on.
don't really remember what the reason was.
That's what it was.
Was it?
Yeah, we were on the E show, and I had crapped camera, and Brett was kind of the stalwart of the E show. So I
Brett,
remember I
I
sent
got
you
to
a
give Ross
Facebook
credit. He
message.
was 50% of that too. He did a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I was terrible, and reached out to you for some pointers, and we just kind of started talking
yeah,
deer.
that's
So
right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
How long did you film for Midwest Whitetail? Do you remember? You might have been before us.
13, 14, 15, 16. Then we try to do our own thing, and
Yeah.
then if you count Cabela's whitetail season, there was 18 and 19. I don't think it was 20. I think 20
Yeah.
is when I kind of gave it up for a while. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean a solid, 6, 7 years there.
Yeah.
So
What did
yeah,
what were you doing? Were you doing the Whitetail Factor before that, or was that after? I can't remember. Or when did?
I was kind of doing my own. Yeah, I was kind of doing my own thing on the side, just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then of course we did the year or two of that, and then Cabela's whitetail season. Then I just kind of got burnt out.
Yeah.
We talk about it, just hauling all the equipment, having a second guy to go with you, and sharing time. I had kids. I had my first kid in 16, so that was kind of the start of
Oh
me
yeah.
not filming for a while. So, but yeah, I was always doing my kind of own thing on the side, making my own videos. But I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't do anything serious until we did those 2 years of Whitetail
Hey,
Factor.
if you look back at some of those videos that year, they got some serious views.
Oh yeah, yeah. The most views were your guys' thing with Parallel 43.
Yeah.
John Lewis obviously
Yeah.
did some editing for us, and he made a real cool series we called Parallel 43. It was about you guys. Didn't
Yeah.
really have a whole lot to do with me. But I think the junk buck had like 500,000, right?
I don't know. I
Something
had a
like that. I
lot.
don't know. We can look it up.
I should look it up because it
Yeah,
was
you
a
look
lot. And
back
then
now.
even
Yeah, yeah.
do you remember that hunt, that right hook hunt? The
Yeah, I had a
wounded,
bunch. Where he
that thing got his bunch of views too.
is that
What's
when
it
he
called?
shed?
What's that?
They're going. Is that when he broke his leg and he shed? Or are you
Yeah, I
talking
think
about
so.
the one earlier? Yeah, that deer was a good deer. Broke his leg. Probably got hit by a car. Hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
And then shed half his rack, and it was a lot. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think we videoed him coming out to the beans with a broken leg and half a rack.
Yeah.
And I don't know why
I think
it
that
was so popular, but yeah,
I think that got, oh, maybe I'm trying to find it.
it was a lot.
Well, the video you did that you edited of Don's got a zillion too. That got a lot of.
Yep,
Hold on.
yep. There was a deer that Don Higgins shot called Smokey that another guy that edited for us did.
Yeah, that
We
is.
actually that was actually his first produced one on that one.
Was it? Yeah,
Yep.
that the wounded buck was 495,000. The smoky hunt was 490,000. The junk buck was 250,000. So those are pretty serious views.
50. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We kill for those views now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's
So,
not so easy for us to get to. I mean, for really anybody, unless you're like the top of the top. So why don't you give us a little bit? I mean, obviously I know, but why don't you give everybody kind of a background, Joe, of your hunting and kind of how you evolved up into the filming point?
yeah. So just quick, because it has context to why I hunt. But like you, I played sports in college, and I started hunting. I didn't have really anybody that, as far as like my dad or um, my grandpa was like a rabbit hunter, but I'd go fishing with him. But I didn't really have anybody that took me hunting. And then I actually started dating a girl in high school whose dad was a huge hunter. Took me out, started loving it. My uncle Rick, which is my mom's brother, he actually is a huge hunter. Went to Africa, everything, everything. He's more of a all species hunter than he really is a whitetail hunter, but he
Yep.
kind of got me going. But because I grew up playing sports, I got done playing in college, and that's when it really took off because I had to fill that competitive nature with something, and chasing, eventually chasing mature whitetail bucks was kind of what filled that. So, I can't run and play sports like I used to. So that drove my competitive nature. And then I would say, honestly, the competitive nature is probably what drew me to filming, trying to, okay, this is hard. I think at first it was probably like we all are. It's probably something egotistical to a certain extent. Oh, I want my face on a video and people watching me. But then, okay, now I want to make the best video I can, and went from there. And then got burnt out and stopped for a while, and now I do some filming. Nothing super crazy, but for Don Higgins and Chasing Giants TV, nothing crazy, but just
Yeah.
give them kind of. Usually they take about one or two stories about a year. So, but yeah, that's my background. Just love it. For me, it's what I'll never stop being a competitive person, and that is what drives that for me. So,
Yeah, and I don't, knowing you, I don't think, you say competitive, I think it's more of a doing challenging
me versus the
things.
deer.
What's
Yeah,
that?
me versus the deer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's not like,
It's not me versus
no,
anybody else. I
no,
don't. I
yeah.
don't care. I mean, you saw the deer I was
No,
chasing this year. I mean, probably all our friends that are real serious were probably hunting a bigger deer than me. It's
yeah.
it's me versus that deer,
I
or
just
me
don't
versus
want,
the property.
yeah. I don't want
Whatever.
people to
I
think
mean,
that you meant, because that's definitely not, you're not
yeah,
like competing with, you're just yourself and the deer and whatnot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what's intriguing, right? Because it's not me versus another human being.
Yeah.
It's me versus that deer, and you lose. That's probably what I I played all kinds of sports growing up. That I can't think of any sport growing up where you would lose this many times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
So it's like an addiction.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Yeah.
So you lose what? You probably lose 49 out of 50 times in the woods.
Yeah.
So
Well, even on the
Yeah, that's
deer
a good
you
way of thinking
kill,
about it.
you don't, it's
yeah,
failure until it happens, essentially.
yeah.
So, where was it that you grew up? Was it close to where you're at now?
Yeah. I actually live. So I'm in southern Indiana. If you know where Louisville, Kentucky, like the Derby is, I'm just right across the river. So I'm right on the Indiana-Kentucky line. So Indiana's been my physical home.
Yep.
I would almost call Kentucky my hunting home, just as far as time spent. I spend it in Kentucky. I own about 66 acres in Kentucky. Um, I've hunted an suburban farm in Kentucky. You can take a guess on the city because I just gave it away, but and I've hunted Indiana a lot of my life. I've always had my best opportunities in Kentucky. It'd be northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
So
You've also killed, did you kill one or two big deer in Illinois?
I killed one Boone and Crockett deer. I killed another on a family farm. It was probably like high 50. I need to have you down and rescore on my deer with me. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you hunted Ohio. Is this the first year you've hunted Ohio?
Yeah, first
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I ever went there before. No, I don't. I think it's the first time I ever literally bought an Ohio tag and
No
went
way.
there.
That's pretty cool.
We bought ground. Went to one of our mutual buddies' place, and then while I was there, we actually got an offer. So I just bought almost 36 acres in Ohio.
Did you guys get hit
Yeah.
there at all this year with EHD or no?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I said, I'm not super in tune with that. I'm actually going Monday. We're meeting a logger down there, but I actually haven't stepped foot on the property. A buddy that I own the Kentucky farm with, he has 50 acres literally across the road, and just said, "Hey, we're gonna make her a stupid, silly offer," and she took it. So I'm gonna step foot on that place for the first time on Monday. But to my knowledge, to answer your question, we haven't had any AHD there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I sent you the picture, Joe. I haven't showed you yet, Matt, but
What's
I'll
that?
show you right now. Well, you remember that deer we went to Ohio? And actually, where I killed that deer, we killed that deer, is not too terribly far from Joe's new place.
Hmm.
But Evan FaceTimed me today.
Oh.
He found that one we went after. That's the one we went there to kill. He found, and it showed back up this year even bigger. He just found it dead today, shed hunting. And I don't know. You don't know. Like, I've heard them dying even late for EHD. You know what I mean? Like, into November.
Yeah, what is it? Acute kills them quick, and then chronic kills them
Okay.
over course of like 3 months, right? It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of weird
mean,
because you would think acute's the opposite, but I think I'm right in that.
I don't.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that some of them die late, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not around enough like you guys are to actually know all the ins and outs. We don't see it that much, but I wonder if that deer. I was thinking that because he was like around in the summer, and then he wasn't, and then he came back. I'm like, oh, maybe he died, and then he was there in like must have been October, like most of October, in early November, and then he disappeared again. And I was like, man, I wonder if he died from AHD or. Who knows? Maybe he got shot or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was
you're
dead
close
on
to a
that
major
ridge.
creek system.
What's
Yeah,
that?
you're close to that major. I said you're
Yeah.
close to that major creek system, right?
Yep.
So
It's
maybe
super
you hear
rocky
that.
though. It's like it's like your creek there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
freestone, like, yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't seem super
yeah.
muddy.
I mean, weird. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe you got
it's-
gut shot.
I mean, even like a car, something weird.
oh yeah,
freak.
yeah.
I mean,
It
it's
could have
not,
been a car, cattle country.
and he
who
just
knows?
went
I
up
mean,
there and died.
yeah,
but-
or maybe someone
Yeah.
gut shot him. But yeah, literally
Yeah.
he was dead.
Yeah,
Like, you go up on the top, and then like we're hunting to the left.
Yep.
He's dead down there on the right on the ridge. So
I mean, it's not that far. There's a couple
No.
hundred yards to play
no,
with.
it's
and
not
that's
far
about
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
He's right there. So I'm saying the deer lived like right on that
Yeah.
that piece. So
yeah.
that was a bummer. He's
Did you
pretty
see
good.
him? Didn't you see him when you shot that other good deer? Was it a
No,
year or
I
two
didn't
ago?
see him. I didn't see him. We got pictures of him that
Pictures of him?
morning.
Yeah.
We got pictures of the deer I killed and him that morning in daylight, and then I went in and shot him. I don't know if we had waited and not shot the deer I shot, we might have seen him at some point in that night too, because it wasn't super late when I killed that deer.
Right.
And he had been there, so I wouldn't have been surprised if I wasn't going to pass that deer, but if we had just hung tight, he might have come out too that night, but obviously.
Yeah, that would. I mean, how weird would that have been to just stand over that deer and watch it? That'd be.
Yeah. No, I would
That'd
have.
be.
Yeah.
That would have been awful.
So I don't know if anybody can see, but I'll show maybe the camera if you can see that.
Yeah,
that's
I can.
the deer right there.
I can put
Yeah, I'll
a
send it to
picture
you,
over
Matt.
it. But you look how much. Looks like he got a little bit bigger, huh?
Oh yeah, he definitely got bigger. He grew substantially. So
Good deer.
what's the plan now? I know we've talked a little bit, but for property-wise, so the thing I'll say about you, Joe, is you've always been able to network and pay attention and talk to people and kind of be in the know about what areas are producing big deer, particularly in your region, and what properties are good. And you've been able to get, whether it's lease or buy or get permission or work some sort of deal. You've always been on, I feel like, really good ground and been able to find that. Like, what allows you to do that, do you think? Is it just something you're always thinking about and working on, or?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know, man. I always revert it back to my sports. I hate to go back to that, but it's always like if you take something serious, you're going to try to be around people that are serious, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, met my buddy Eric. He had an in with. I guess you don't really know for sure, but a lot of people say, like his dad's best friend was biggest farmer in southeastern Indiana. So when you think about, I know not everybody knows that geography, but southeastern Indiana would be have a tri border with Kentucky and Ohio. Um, and that whole southern section of Indiana is um, considered the best, obviously. So kind of just taking it serious. Obviously, the videoing helped. People
Yeah.
see it and understand. Not I wasn't anything big time, but people would watch regionally on Midwest Whitetail the shows and just met some people through that and that were like minded and serious, obviously like we did. And yeah, just I'm always staying in touch. I I'm a question asker, as you know.
Yeah.
I like to listen more than I talk, or at least try to. So, uh, you know, try to meet as many people as I can. And there's a lot of hunters down here too. That's what people always thought. Me and you always joke about this, but everybody's like Iowa, Iowa, Iowa. Indiana and Kentucky are really good. They just got a lot more hunters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
obviously,
there's a lot of areas that
yeah,
could be just as good as Iowa or one of those big states. It's just there's a lot more hunter density, and
yeah, yeah,
it just makes it
yeah,
tougher for the deer to get to the age that they need. And
yeah,
maybe not get to, because there's plenty of old deer, but like maybe it's the percentage of bucks that get to the age that they need to get to, so that one or two of those things is truly giant.
yeah. No, I mean that. Well, when you think about it, I mean it's super simple concept, but you don't. It, people don't think about this when they think about the Midwestern states down here. More hunters, there's just going to be more deer that don't make it to that age. I mean,
Yeah.
the genetics here, in theory, are no different than Illinois and Iowa. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're not. You always hear people say, "Well, more people are going to shoot that 3-year-old 10 pointer," and nothing against anybody that does that. You just have more people doing it here,
Yep.
right? So,
Yeah. That makes sense. So we've talked a little bit. When was it? Talking the other day about just the idea. Like, for example, this year, and it was a solid buck you were hunting, but like you weren't hunting a deer like the ones behind you on the wall, but you were so into that deer and so into that experience and that pursuit. And I know part of it was that it was on your own ground this year, which was a little bit of, you've had that in the past, but this year you had one that was on your ground. He was living there and you were like in the groove with him. And it seemed like you
yeah.
really enjoyed that aspect of it. Has that been, it seems like to me from the outside, that's been something that you're really feeling and really enjoying is not only like chasing a mature deer, but chasing one on your own dirt.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it, and the other thing too, which I'm sure we can get into, and we've talked about this. This is the first farm that I've hunted that was like major elevation,
Yeah.
and like talking 850 feet, whatever it is. And that was part of it too, no doubt. That not only was it my farm, but I've hunted elevation, but not like that, not drastic stuff like you guys are doing. I know it's not the elevation you're doing, but that
Yeah,
was
but it's
definitely
it's
part of
just
it.
as
Kind of
steep as anything.
almost a new challenge,
Yeah.
right? So, and trying to figure it out. So and of course, it's your own ground. I mean, I know we get into more about owning your own ground, but yeah, there's just something about that. I mean, I could have probably, with my networking, found another deer. Not when I say significantly, probably 15, 20 inches bigger
Yeah.
would be my guess. But yeah, no, I wasn't gonna move off that deer.
Yeah.
So
Were you able to catch up with that deer or have any opportunities with him, or did it not work out?
man, Brett will probably laugh. That deer daylighted. I was going through it the other day and I started counting. It was literally he daylighted. I'm gonna bet just on my camera. Kentucky's a pretty long season. I bet he daylighted 25 times, and I was just never there. Never there. I mean, he would tell me, you gotta just go sit on that deer, and it's just one of those when you have kids and what have you. I just wasn't. I mean, I would joke and said he was the luckiest deer on this earth. My buddy was sitting that owns the ground with me was sitting with his son, and he walked right in front of him,
Hmm.
like 5 yards in front of the blind,
Yeah.
and he made his son hold off, which he didn't have to do that, but yeah. So no, I just didn't catch up with him, and then I hunted him actually probably the hardest late season, and I just think we can get into that later. Things are going to change, but uh, that farm's kind of tough to hunt late season because I'm hunting him on food, and all the food's in the valley, and all the greenery and trees, lighting up there on the ridge. I swear to God, I think he probably watched me walk in a few times. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
You did see him a couple times, didn't you?
I did, yes, I did see him up on the ridge. I actually left Ohio. We were hunting with a buddy. He had daylighted the evening before. In the morning, I drove home. I saw him that evening. He hopped the fence, and it was like a 2 second. Like by the time I ranged him, he hopped the fence, and I couldn't get a shot. And then I saw him another time. He ran after a younger buck that I had on camera 5 yards behind my tree stand, but he literally was running at him. So it's not like I didn't have opportunities.
Yeah.
So I was in there
And
on him. But
didn't you see
yeah,
him late too?
yes, I saw him late.
Yeah.
The opening day of muzzleloader, he was. I could have shot him, but it would technically been illegal on the neighbors. Just point being that I could have. He
Right.
was 80 yards. My fence line's 70 yards to my west, and he was. He stood right inside my neighbor's fence line for God 5 6 minutes. He walked across my fence line a minute after shooting light. So yeah, I was on him. I mean, it was just unlucky almost to a certain extent.
You know,
Just couldn't win.
you didn't kill the deer, but like that's pretty sweet because you got to hunt them the whole season. You got to like have that whole story. You saw him 3 times. It's pretty good. I feel like. I mean, I never
Oh yeah,
hardly
yeah.
ever see a deer that I'm after, other than the day I kill him, or just see him and then never see him again. So.
Yeah, what'd we say? You saw 4 bucks and a lot of sets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or 4 deer total.
This year, yeah, it was bad in New Hampshire at least.
Yeah.
But, well, and then of course, it all depends where you're at and what time of year it is. But
There's something else too. I mean, you probably realize this some in New York. I know it's probably harder in New Hampshire, but you were asking me why that deer was so intriguing to me. Well, I mean, I have 66 acres, but that deer was living on me. You know what I mean? He
yeah,
was for sure living on me, and that was another intriguing part. Which, again, I know in New Hampshire, you have deer travel a mile in a day,
right.
but for him to be there was just it drove me crazy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was right there. Um,
yeah.
so let's talk a little bit about what's the plan for that deer next year. I know we've talked, but like, what are you gonna do? Give us the breakdown of like, I think you already alluded to the fact that you got food in the bottom and he's laying up and it's like walking in a stadium with, with deer all around you,
Yep.
and you're down on the field. What's the plan to I guess fix that, or at least try to be more successful and have a better setup this year?
Yeah. So I mean, I'll give you a high level how my farm sets up. East east access, which is great. So basically, you pull in a bottom valley, and we're on the east side, 2 ridges. So basically, we have a creek that runs that cuts through between the north and the southern ridge, right? So we have a from the southern ridge to the creek, we have about a 2 to 3 acre field, and then as it cuts, it weaves through, and then another field, which is where I was primarily hunting him. That's on the south end of the North Ridge. So we didn't plant um, the field closest to I guess, the access. We're definitely going to plant that this year. We had a few other deer, which Brett used to all, but
Yeah.
that we want to plant, and I know that deer would use that area too because we'd get him up on the other ridge. So we're definitely going to plant that. We're going to plant with some structure. I've went back and forth on corn. I've got so much to plant miscanthus, bread is
Yeah.
too. I've settled on sorghum or milo. I'm doing it for structure, but I'm also doing it to hedge my bet. For two things. I'm going to use it for some access. I'm obviously going to put a new blind down there, blocking off just kind of the access dirt road that comes in there. And then two, I mean, I've had deer eat that late.
Yeah.
Usually in my experience, it's been December, like early December where they start hitting it. So, hedging my bet there, I didn't get him this year, although I thought I should have in September, but, um, if I don't. But again, with him, and if I think this year I pursued him so hard that if I get him or my buddy that owns the farm with me, I don't. It doesn't matter to me. It's not about me getting him. It's about us getting him on that farm. Um, but anyways, back to that sorghum for structure. I'm still going back and forth on. I just don't have a ton of ground on whether I'm going to put beans and fence it. It's probably going to depend on how much time how much I get done efficiently, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But irregardless, I'll have sorghum surrounding and enclosing a fall food plot at worst on
Oh,
both
so
food plots.
you're
I'm
gonna
not having
plant
fruit.
something besides sorghum on the south. So like I guess I'll elaborate just a little bit. So you basically have east access, creek runs east to west. Well, no, I guess I'd run west east, but the creek runs in that direction. And you have
Yeah.
a ridges that mirror that on the north and south. Yeah. So and
Yes.
the fields are in
Yes.
the
And they
bottom. Yeah.
yep, and just two openings or that creek. If you think about it, the creek comes through and splits and creates the ridges, and there's two bottom fields
Right.
on each end of. Yep.
One
Mm-hmm.
deeper than the other. And he seems like maybe he's I don't know, maybe but it seems like he's maybe towards the north side more than the south.
It definitely, yes. I mean, I'm very confident he spends at least beds on the north side and spends more time on the north side. Very, very confident in that because I was running cameras on the south side. He would go, I'd get a picture of him on the south side about once every 10 days, and I get a picture on the north side every day,
Yeah.
Mm.
whether that's daylight or
You're right.
midnight, whatever it was. Yep.
Yeah. So you're gonna do food on that. I know you're gonna do sorghum, but you're gonna do another food source on the south too, like a green plot or beans or something or peas or
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
there'll definitely be something, whether it's beans and they're fenced, which in Kentucky, I don't know, people listening, Kentucky always opens the first Saturday in September.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's anywhere from usually at the earliest third or fourth to the latest like eighth, ninth, 10th. So I'd love to have beans. We talk about this,
Yeah.
but if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. So I got to be able to get down there, fence it, and how much, I'm more worried about the structure than I am worried about what the food is there,
Yeah.
at least this year. So for me, it's getting the miscanthus in, doing it right, getting the sorghum in, doing it right, and then I have beans sitting in my barn either way. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also in Kentucky you can also pile some corn up if you need to because
You can.
it is a
Yep.
bate state. So that's like the
You definitely can.
yeah.
So,
So that's
yeah.
another if your food plots
Yep.
all fail, well, you got that. So you're going to be
Yep.
good.
Yep. That's right.
Um,
That's right.
and you talked also. You're thinking about doing like cow peas or something, right? Or iron clay peas.
Yeah,
What
I've
was it?
done so. I've planted sorghum before, like I said, and it's worked well. I've thought and not necessarily specifically to that deer. Don't get me wrong. I want that deer to be there. I'd love to kill that deer personally, but it's more of we've that. I'm not used to this. Um, you are, but I'm not used to this. Where this is the first property that I've had direct access to, where I had multiple. Trying to think. I mean, I'm just talking what it would be either mature or close to mature. This is probably the first property I had like 3 or 4 deer that we'd get a picture of, and not often, but they're at least semi close. So for
Yeah.
me, it's like, okay, what happens if I double my food there and put it on the other side? I know it's crazy as that sounds, but and and you could probably talk to this more than me, but like I feel like some of these deer can be ridge to ridge, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm like, I'm gonna plant this south end, and I want summer food over on that south end too, because I had a deer there that was a nice deer, 11 pointer. He had a drop tine. Saw him the last day of season, but I never got a picture of him on the north side. But I got like 5 or 6 pictures of him on the south ridge, and they're
Right.
not that far where
Right.
the bird flies. So to me, does that make a difference? Does he come down that hill? He might not cross that creek, but does he come down that
Right.
hill to that food? Right.
Well,
So
I've seen it, and I'm sure we all have. Like, there's some deer, and it's not all of them, but they have like these imaginary boundaries that they just don't cross. And it's
yep.
maybe they do every once in a while, but it's just like as a rule, they don't really cross them very often. It could be just that creek. So yeah, you having food on the right side of the creek, just even 100 or 200 yards closer to him, may be enough that he's going to frequent it. Where if you have it across the creek, he's going to come down to that point and just kind of head back, and you're just on his fringe.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it too, where like you move a camera 100 yards in one direction, you pick up like 2 new deer you've never had before, and like you don't get them anywhere
Right.
else. So I think it's super valid. The other thing is, and I really, it's tough to know this, but it seems like, and I've heard people talk about it, you can almost set these farms up so you can house and feed 2 different deer in 2 different spots, even though they're in close proximity to each other.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I'm
Especially
gonna,
with a
and
feeder. I
actually,
know
what's
not
that?
everybody can do that, but I said especially with a feeder. I mean,
Oh yeah,
don't get
yeah,
me wrong. We talk about this. I mean, if Kentucky wasn't a big state, I don't care. I'd be fine.
yeah,
But I'm telling you, I could have a feeder and I am going to have a feeder on both fields. The way the crow flies, those feeders will probably be 500 yards apart,
yeah.
and I guarantee that's what'll happen.
There'll be different
Mm-hmm.
deer. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I think in certain parts of the country that happens a lot more. And a lot of that. So I've noticed it in ridgy, hilly country more than anything. Like kind of where you're at, in Ohio in particular, there'd just be like a buck that would live on one ridge, and it may be like a 80-acre ridge, or like and he's just like that's where he's at. He doesn't even cross the road, go up the other side, or he doesn't cross the creek. So it seems like it makes sense to set up these little pockets of the farm for particular deer if you're in a situation like that. So he has bedding right up above and then food down below, and like these deer early and late, like they'll just live right there, and like they don't leave very
Yeah.
often. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I'm learning. I haven't, like I said, I've hunted topography, but not like this. And
Yeah.
so I'm each year I'm constantly, well, there's a picture when the very first year I bought this farm was 2022. I got a really nice deer on camera, and but only for a few days, which I know isn't insane in November, but still to our point. And then I've got a deer that I have mounted over here that I found sheds up on the southern ridge. So I
Yeah.
mean, you know, where was that deer
Yeah, I know.
at? Really big deer. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What about, so are your access, I know you were worried about the creek. So what are you going to do with the creek? Because I remember so it's good to walk in on the creek, right? That's helpful. But then late season you had ice, and that was kind of screwing you a little bit, right?
Right. So actually went not Friday, Thursday. I went and I've got like probably so if you picture this, is that creek as it starts on the very eastern side of my property, the northern ridge bluffs right there, partly, and then as it cuts through and the southern ridge moves up closer to it, it bluffs there. So if you think about it, on each end there's a line of a thin line of timber that runs along the creek, and I started some hinge cuts Thursday.
Hmm.
I'm gonna see what that looks like.
And that's to thicken it up. And yeah.
That's to thicken it up. I do have. I'm gonna see how that looks because I am gonna have sorghum along
Yep.
each edge this year, so that should help. If I don't like the way it looks in late season, I'm actually gonna go through there with my buddy. I'm gonna have him stand up like he's a deer up in the field and this will be after next year video, like January 20th or
Yeah.
whatever, and just like, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Right.
What's going on
Mm-hmm.
on that? So yeah.
I don't think that's something I think people should do more often, because I like that type of stuff makes a big difference. I remember what we did once was, I use that little 300 Honda four-wheeler a lot, like in the mountains when I can, when in areas where I'm allowed to use it.
Yep.
And I was like, always like, do they hear me? Do they know? Like, I'm always like worried about it. And a couple times I've literally like dropped Ross and like I was going to go do something and he was going to do something here, and I'd take off and I'd like call him or text him when I was coming back. This is in the summer, whenever, it doesn't matter. I'd be like, hey, I'm coming. Listen, be really quiet and tell me like when you can hear this thing coming, like how close. And it was actually surprising. Like a lot of times he couldn't hear me until I was like inside of 100 yards with that thing, and just because of the topography and the cover and everything. And so it gave me confidence that like I can get up in areas and not blow out like the whole mountain, the whole ravine or drainage that I'm in.
Yeah. And do you ever do that when foliage was down and stuff was more open? Because obviously, when leaves are on the trees,
we
knocks
have
sound down a lot more.
Yeah, it was surprising how quiet that thing actually is.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I noticed too, and I really I kind of putt with that thing anyway. Like I don't go very quick. I can't go very quick. I usually keep it in like pretty, low gear and just like kind of crawl. But the other thing is that when you can hear it, it doesn't sound much different than like some of the other, like there's couple main routes that are miles away that you can hear on a calm day. You hear like a truck going and like, it doesn't sound like, it doesn't stick out, I guess, stand out. Obviously if the deer is 70 yards away, but like as soon as you get 200-300 yards away, it just sounds like another noise, but there's not that many noises, but sound just does carry when you have that topography. So I think that's a really good idea of what you're saying there, is just actually get in there, like go up on the ridge too, and then sit there and look
I was
down.
literally about to say that. I marked some beds. I went to pull a couple cameras down the other day and marked a few beds where I
Yeah.
think, that deer, and there's going to be future bucks that do that. And
Actually, Winky was doing that the other day. He made a video about that.
was he?
Yeah, he was up on his ridge, like lying in deer beds, looking down in his bunk. Because he actually has a similar situation to you.
Yeah, I've watched his videos. It seems very similar.
Yeah. So. But that's a big thing. I mean, if you can get in there and get out clean, I feel like it's just a matter of time till you kill that deer for sure.
Mine is I feel very confident September, October, mostly November. I don't really need to be down there that much in November anyways, but I mean, man, December, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Like,
Yeah.
just as that, and our ridge is pretty thick, but it's still amazing. Even with, it's actually really thick. It's amazing how even a really thick ridge, like, it's going to happen, but then you look up at it when you're going in December and you're like, good God, you know what I mean? Like, it went from,
especially with snow on it.
yeah, it's insane. You as much as we've hunted and I don't know if you catch yourself doing this, but you get in December and you're like, oh my God, like it's so open now. And that's what drove me crazy. So worst case, I'll bring hay bales in, I mean,
Yeah.
I think you might have even mentioned that to me. So
as an experiment, have you ever thought about sleeping in that thing to see how it changes the deer movement?
Man, if I didn't have a 8 and 9-year-old and my wife calling me, I would for sure. I would have no problem with it. Yeah, no, I actually thought about it. I actually thought about it for early season this year because that deer was showing up almost every morning in daylight. I think it would work, but no, I would if I had more time. So,
Henry was doing that in Alberta
this past year.
Yeah, he was sleeping in the blind.
I think Winky did like a sleeping bag thing, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was doing that too.
Yeah, he did the sleeping bag on the ground. I think that wasn't a blind situation. He was like taking a sleeping bag up on the ridge.
He did that, and then the other thing is he took a Freedom camper, which is basically like a truck bed camper deal, and I think he brought it up on that ridge and like he just made it like his sleeping quarters so he doesn't have to come and go.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty extreme, but I don't know if
Yeah.
I think that though, honestly though, like it's extreme, but if you that deer was on a pattern and like you had to be there in the morning and you couldn't get like, okay, well, like it probably wouldn't take more than a couple times and you probably get him killed if everything was like lining up to do it, and it would be a kind of
Yeah,
a long night, but yeah.
for sure. I mean, to be honest with you guys, if that deer was like a 180-inch deer, I probably would have. That deer, just a quick story. That deer, I named that deer Tatum's Buck because my daughter's name is Tatum. So Kentucky opened on September 6th this year, and her birthday is the 7th of September. So I went the 6th. He literally shows up. I walk out to my truck. I have cell cameras. Look at the cell camera. I just got in my truck, so it's like 10, 15 minutes later. He's there. The next day, I don't go because we take my daughter to a local amusement park for her birthday, and he shows up right in front of the blind. So I called him Tatum's butt because I said if it wasn't for Tatum, he'd be dead. So.
On day 2. If you could go back, would you have killed him that second day, or do you like this situation better, where he lives and you learned, and like, what would you do?
Ugh. I don't know, man. You always like killing the deer, and then you know how it is. The next, so no. Now hindsight 2020. Now sitting here, it was frustrating all year. No, I think it's probably good for me because I got this property for such what I think's a good deal that I plan on having it pretty long term. I mean, never know, but I think from like learning, um, it's probably a good thing for me. Like as far as this specific property. You know how it is, man. You shoot. I mean, you travel and hunt.
Yeah.
You shoot one deer, and you're like, "Oh, I'm good, man. I'm gonna chill for a little bit." It's like the next day, you're like, "Nah, man. Not the next
Yeah, your
deer."
mind starts going like, all right, what's
So,
next? Yeah, no, for sure.
What else is there besides that deer? Does anything else interest you, or not really yet?
like as far as like other animals,
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Chris and Cody came down. There's a ton of turkeys, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I sent you the picture the other day. There was like, I literally have a picture. There's probably 35 turkeys in my camera frame. Ton of turkeys there. I love going to turkey hunt. I don't care if I shoot a turkey, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
they don't get me like I'm into like, oh, I'm following this deer, that deer. So like with turkeys, I know it's a little bit harder. I know some people say they do, but um, tons of turkeys. I mean, man, this is like beautiful scenery down there. I mean, it's like the hills of Kentucky, but you're not far from ag fields. You know what I mean, too. So there's a lot of wildlife. Um, But yeah, like I mean, I tell Brett he can come in here. He wants to turkey hunt. Like I said, Chris and Cody. I don't remember if there's a third guy with them that year. I think there was, but I don't remember his
Might have
name.
been an intern.
So yeah, no, turkey hunting's great there. I don't really coyote hunt much. I think I would enjoy it, but I just haven't done it to be honest with you. So
That's something that I feel like just trying to keep the predators down would be, I'd enjoy doing that, but it's like the time. It's like, so you hunt all fall, and then it's like, all right, deer season's over, time to start killing.
yeah,
It's like, man, I can't. I just don't have. I
yeah,
mean,
let me tell my wife I'm going to go out at midnight to shoot at
a
coyotes.
mangy
See how
dog,
that works.
mangy wild dog that you're not gonna even eat.
Yep. Nope. Yeah. So no. I think it'd be fun. My buddy that I own the property with, he loves coyote hunting, and I know I have a couple of buddies that are huge deer hunters, and like us, super serious. And they absolutely, I have a couple of them that'll tell me like, dude, it's about as fun as hunting a big deer because it's just so quick and whatever.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it and go do it. So.
I feel like that's a retirement activity for me.
You know what's interesting, real quick on coyotes? I'll say this. I pulled a camera. I had two cameras over on my south hill that I didn't have on sale, and I pulled them. And I don't know, you guys have noticed this up there in hill country, but I don't get hardly many coyotes at all in the north. ridge.
Really?
There was a freaking ton on the south ridge.
Hmm.
It was just, I just thought it was interesting and wild, you know? I mean, a ton. So, I don't know. It was
I
weird to
wonder
me,
why that would
but
be. I
I
wonder
don't
why that
know.
would be.
And you said that buck was living on the north ridge. Was that where most of the deer were too, or were they kind of spread evenly?
It definitely has better timber habitat over there. And of course, the food was closer, you know, like that food was buttoned up to that ridge. So, but still, I found that interesting that, you know, I get a few pictures of coyotes on that north side,
Yeah.
but when I pulled those cameras on the south, there was just ton of, a freaking ton of, you know.
Yeah,
So
that is
I
interesting.
don't know, it was weird. So
What's your so you got the or you have that Ohio property,
yep,
and then you looking for an Indiana place maybe?
yeah. So I'll say this to people that are listening that go to buy hunting land: don't ever turn down a good deal. I think you'll agree with that. Like you can always sell it and make your money. Don't ever turn down. So like this Ohio property is just stupid good.
Yeah.
We offered like we literally offered this lady something we didn't. We were like prepared to negotiate a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like we didn't like have to have this place or anything. So the reason I'm saying this is I got it so stupid. Like I wasn't even prepared to be buying this thing. You know what I mean? Like I can, but my point in saying that is, yeah, I'm gonna look for Indiana, but this is in a pocket, which you know,
Yeah.
I haven't hunted there. I have some really good friends that are literally across the road, and we've met the people around there, and you've hunted not far from there. This is like a really stupid good pocket. So I'm not gonna be like silly and you know sell it immediately or anything. But my goal is to be closer to home. I mean, you'll probably laugh at me because you have to drive however many hours to
Yeah.
where you go to own land, but it's a lot easier if it's closer.
It is. It's
So,
way
you know,
easier.
I'm hauling a tractor and you know, if you're hauling any type of equipment to do anything, it's just a pain in the butt. So,
Do you,
yeah.
are you leaving that tractor there often, or are you bringing it back and forth every time?
I brought it back last year because I really was like, you know, I'd go and brush hog, and I don't have that many fields, you know, or I don't have that many acres. I'm doing stuff, so you know, if I go and brush hog, it's usually a couple hour thing, and then if I went and disc and cultipack, it's a couple hour thing. But this year, I'm probably gonna be leaving it this spring for a
Yeah.
few days. We got an old tobacco barn there, uh, but yeah, I mean, I have like a 35 horse Kubota, so easier to haul than your tractor, by all
Yeah.
means.
Mine.
So
I get it done. I get it done.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's like last year. I was like, I usually will bring it out. Well, usually it hasn't been that many years, but bring it out for planting season in the spring, then bring it back here because it would do
yeah.
plant stump stuff behind the house, not for really deer, but for people and chickens. Um, and then bring it back if I need it, but usually I don't. But last year, just because we had so much going on and so much stuff, I didn't even bring it back. I actually borrowed the neighbor's
Yeah.
tractor to plant the stuff behind the house here. So, but I'll have to bring it back out. I plow with it in the winter here, so it's like I guess I could figure that out, something out for that. But it's also I have it, so why not? Um,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I gotta get a little tractor, or snowblower or something. I'm getting real sick of shoveling.
Especially this winter. Right?
Yeah, my snowbanks. I'm having to like jump and throw the thing. And then we're supposed to get another up to a foot tomorrow night. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
like
what did we got like 5-6 inches last night?
yeah, wet heavy stuff, and
You did?
Yeah, and then
Y'all
we're
got
getting
a huge
another.
storm coming, right?
And then we got another one coming too. It's like
yeah,
man.
I gotta get up on my roof tomorrow and try and knock some of that off
Yeah.
before, because we got like 2 feet at my house what was that, a month ago?
Yeah.
Probably.
Not much melted though. I mean, until
Yeah.
this week, it was cold.
But yeah, I got a metal roof, so there's like a layer of ice, and now we got a layer of wet, heavy snow on top of that. I'm like, before we get another foot, I gotta get rid of some of that.
Yeah, we got a couple of 60-degree days here,
Yeah,
so that's funny because this was like one of the coldest years down here that I remember. We got a ton of snow, I remember when you came down, Brett, you were the garden shed there where we would kind of get dressed
Yeah.
at the one property we hunted. But I remember he was standing barefoot, like on a wood floor, and I'm like, dude, how are you doing that? he's he's like, dude, I'm immune to the cold. So yeah, we down here we we got some brutal cold this year, but I know you guys are used to it.
Yeah,
So
well, no, it did. And then even last year it was cold in January for like, because when I killed that Ohio buck, it was
yep,
really cold and
yep.
snowy then too. So there's been a couple of really good cold, snowy late seasons down in that part of the world.
We've need, and it's probably helped us too because we've had some wicked droughts in the fall. I'm no agronomist by any means, but it's got to help. You know, when you get those wicked droughts in the fall, that snow, as long as you don't get that ice, major ice, that it has to help, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
hold
Puts more
moisture in
moisture
that
in the
ground.
ground, that's for sure. Although I feel like that's the time you don't need it in the spring. You need it in the
Yeah,
summer.
true,
And
true.
the other thing that I think we've both been talking about too is we used to get, and that not that we obviously both still do like chase particular deer, but we're definitely seeing the value in having more people involved with what we're doing on different properties and hunting with and sharing camp. I mean, we're, at Just Hunt Club, we obviously kind of like embrace that, but man, it really does. It really makes the experience so much better when you have friends and family to like share that with. Um, and,
Right.
and I know you've been kind of
Yeah, you
leaning that way too.
oh yeah, you go through stages of hunting, I always say like so I mean, I try to think of my stages. There was like going out and I was it probably benefited somebody like me. It's probably not good for everybody. The first deer I shot was like a 140-inch 10 pointer. Had no idea what I was doing. Shot him in the neck, like not aiming there, obviously. Dropped him, but it like for me it was like, oh my God, this is really cool. But my point in that is I went from like just every sit in the woods was I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And then I go to all right, I shot a good deer, so I kind of I kind of jumped a step, but then it made it tough on me because I didn't really know why I killed that deer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or how. And then you go through all these stages, right? Where you get where it's like there's a selfish stage in there. I mean, I was there, like I wanted to kill that deer. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. And now it's like you hear people say it, but I can get joy out of like next year, for example, this deer I was after. I mean, I was going after him hard, and the guy I owned the ground with was very gracious and stayed. You know, he was like, "Hey, I have not shot a deer on that ground." He was like, "You go after him, I'll stay away." He made his own son pass the deer, and I wouldn't have cared. But now you look at it and you're like, you think about it, like you go to you go and shoot these deer, and I self film now, so I don't have somebody sitting with me. But you go and shoot these deer, but like, what are you gonna do? Take a picture with yourself? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You want to call somebody, you want to talk to them, or better yet, like my buddy that owns the ground with me. When he's tagged out, he goes and sits with me. Like it's cool. We sit there and talk strategy. Like,
Yeah.
or I'll call Brett. You know, like
Yeah.
you get to a certain point where, like, don't get me wrong, not like Mark Drury. I haven't shot like 1,200,000-inch deer or
Yeah.
anything, but I've shot a lot of good deer. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if like a 200-inch deer shows up somewhere on my property or a property I have access to, like I'm probably gonna get pretty into that deer. But as far as most mature deer, it's like I went up to a mutual buddy of ours that runs an outfitter, and I was up there with a bunch of guys that don't take it as serious as we do, but like, man, that's cool. And you kind of miss that after like 10 years of not doing it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
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 So,
I for sure. I got
yeah.
actually probably when I was hunting down with you in Kentucky was probably like the peak of me going crazy serious, like don't care about anything about that. Like that was like the peak of
Yep.
it.
Chris comes down or he came down this year. And like, honestly, that was some of the funnest times I had because, yeah, I wasn't sitting there hunting with him, but he was hunting. I was hunting my property. He was hunting the property that I still can hunt and did hunt and you hunted.
Yeah.
because we have a lease spot. But he'd come back down. We'd sit down here and talk for 2 hours just about deer, and it's like, man, this is fun. You know what I mean? This is what's fun about it because
Yeah.
I mean, just like anything in life, I mean, if you're just doing it alone, at some point it gets old, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I agree. I think it's if you can somehow merge the two, hunting a big giant deer, man, that's like the best. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool
yeah,
if you can
for
experience
sure.
that. So
Right.
I'll ask you this: what is your favorite buck that you've killed? I don't know if I've ever asked you that. The story and the whole process. What was the one that like kind of put it all together for you, and you like,
Oh man, probably probably this deer that probably deer I called Tin Man.
mm-hmm.
Only because I'm gonna say that for now, and I might think afterwards. That deer was like a super recognizable deer. We were pretty sure he was a year and a half old. He already had a 10-point rack, and it stayed the same. And we honestly thought he was going to end up being way bigger than he was. And you were well aware of him. And we just fought him year after year after year. And honestly, I was so burnt out. I killed him the first year that I quit filming. In hindsight, 2020, I wish I would have filmed that year just because I had tons of footage of that deer. I mean, I think you saw that deer on the hoof
I saw
several
him a
times.
couple. I saw him.
Um,
So I saw
Oh
him.
yeah, you saw him that year.
I saw him the
Yeah,
year
I
you
forgot.
killed him, and
Yeah,
I saw him his first year of or when he was a year and a half.
that's right.
I saw
Yep,
him the
yep,
first night I ever hunted that farm. I saw him, and
yeah.
then I
Actually,
saw
you
him.
guys put a video out of that deer.
Yep,
You almost killed that deer.
I did.
Uh, yeah, which which goes back to like if I'll say this, I got to that point back then too. Like if you, I don't know, you hate to tell people what to think. If a deer drives you that much crazy where one of your buddies kills it and you would get pissed, you probably are in the wrong mindset. But
Yeah,
Mm.
anyways, that deer, just because I've followed him so long, he was probably my favorite. I had some other cool stories, but probably not one with that much
yeah.
time into him. Uh, so yeah, yeah. I mean, hold on. Let's see. You He's not as impressive as he's one of those deer that you hang on the wall. There he is.
Yeah, he looks pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's the one.
Show him
You
from the
remember
side a little bit. He looks good from the side. Yeah,
it.
That's the one we were talking
Sorry.
about
the
beforehand.
narrow one.
Oh, okay.
This one right
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
sorry. Narrow.
Yeah,
And then let me go to
I saw these two deer the same day. That one's
oh,
crazy.
there he
Yeah.
is. Kind of doesn't do him. Sorry.
No, you can
Yeah,
see it.
he's talking about deer mounts. I mean, he's one of those deer that he scored nice, but he's not as impressive on the wall. We all have those deer, so
Yeah, he was still
yeah.
pretty good. So how old was he? 6 or 5? Do you remember?
I don't know, man. We could start a whole nother discussion. He was for sure at least
Well, if he was
five.
a year and a half that first year, do you think he was 2? He looked like a year and a half to me.
Yeah, I think he was probably 5, but me and you talk about this all the time. And one of the guys I hunted with on this particular farm where I shot him, I always think if you were being safe, he's a year early on every deer.
Yeah,
Um, or he's a year too young. But yeah, I think he probably was 5 when I shot him, but I, he's one of those. I wish I'd have started sending teeth in then. Or should have, because I guess he could have been 6.
yeah. He did you hunt him as a 4 slash maybe 5-year old? I can't remember.
No, I let him go.
You did.
I saw him once. Uriah had him last day of the season. I'm shooting that deer we called Rooster. If you remember that
Yep,
dude,
yep.
really big, nice 8-pointer. Uh, passed, text me, said 10 man standing 20 yards in front of me. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. For him because he
Yeah,
just he started hunting a lot later. He passed him and then
He
shot
did.
another deer. I didn't attempt to shoot him that year. That year we had 360-inch deer on the farm. Remember that? We had
Oh
the deer
yeah.
Ron shot, what we call him Bucky.
Yep.
We had a deer we had Tin Man. Uh, no, I shot DT, the deer right next to him, sitting up there.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't 160, but he was a good deer, like 150 type deer. Yeah.
That was yeah. You shot him the
Yep.
next year. That's because I.
There
So when
was,
I was hunting the 10 man, I passed that deer. Remember that?
yep, yep,
And I'm glad I
yep.
did because he freaking blew up. Like blew up big time,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, because you had Tin Man the year I ended up shooting him opening weekend.
Yeah.
Actually, here, I know we'll get into quick stories real quick. Brett passed this deer, and I shot him. So Brett, the year I shot Tin Man, Brett
That's what I'm
passed
saying.
this
Yeah.
right
No,
there.
I know. He's way
He
bigger
was a
than
eight
him.
pointer. Yeah, then he threw both those drop tines.
That's
So Brett
yeah.
Brett passed that deer at like 30 yards.
Yeah.
Before he had those things?
Yeah,
Oh,
before. Yeah,
okay.
it was the year before. It was the year before.
Yeah.
But I was after the ten
Yeah,
man deer that year, and that's the year you
Tin
killed
Man.
him.
Yep.
And I saw him
You were
that
after.
morning, and that's why I definitely
Yes.
wasn't going to shoot that deer.
No, 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 no. No, no, that deer actually we I told you to shoot that deer
Yeah, I know.
because he was just your not nothing against 130-inch eight pointers or
Yeah.
anything. He just was your run of the mill 130-inch eight pointer, and then the next year he threw those drop tines. So thank God you didn't shoot him.
Yeah, I'm freaking glad I didn't
It's a
now.
cool deer. Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
strange.
So,
Yeah, I mean, and
Just
yeah,
his frame got bigger too. He was like I said, he was just. I mean,
yeah,
it's on our channel if anybody wants to go watch it. It's I don't know. I'm sure I can link to it in
yeah.
the
yeah.
video. But we have some really beautiful footage of both those deer. Honestly,
And
really good footage
yes,
of it. Um,
the Tin Man footage is really cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think he was like shaking his head and walking, and he had like a huge brisket. Even in like early September, he was a impressive looking deer on the hoof. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that was. I remember I screwed up on that one. I think that if I hadn't have put that blind out and I just got in a tree, I think I would have killed that deer.
Tree.
I think
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't
He
think he
lived
liked
all
that
over.
blind.
So where you filmed him when I shot him, he died at like where he cut into
Yep.
that inside corner. He died probably 30 yards from there.
Yeah.
That's where he lived. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have probably got him out of a tree.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I just figured because of where he lives, on that farm, he just wouldn't have cared that the
Yeah.
blind got popped up. But he was coming, and then
Well,
like I feel like the closer he got, he was kind of like coming, relax, and then like he was like looking, and he was coming, and then all of a sudden he got close enough that you could like clearly see that blind, and he was just like staring and staring
yeah,
and
but
staring.
also, I mean, kudos to you because you could have probably went in. We call it Blue Gate Woods. You probably could have went in there and killed him, but you knew that that was a risk, and
Yeah,
just in case you didn't kill him, yeah. I mean,
yeah. I
so
mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that if I had gotten and it's funny because after that I was like, I did get in a tree right there, and I
yep,
pulled the blind out, and I didn't see him again, but I did
yep,
see the other deer. But that was a learning.
yep,
That was a learning thing for me. Like if I were to go do that again, I think if I were to put that blind up, I would have had to like make it a freaking brush pile. You know what I mean? Like really had to. Because I
yep,
didn't. I didn't do much to it.
yeah,
I just figured because of where he was and like the location and the activity, they just would have been like whatever. But no, he was like that don't look right.
Mm.
yep. I think too, like one of those things, not to not to toot your all's horn too much, but I say this all the time. Like you think about like you or somebody like Jared or whoever up there, like in the Midwest, somewhat simple. It's not. I'm not gonna say like deer hunting's easy, but like people that hunt in the big woods, like I try to listen to, especially like you or Jared, because I think we lose our sense of woodsmanship sometimes, right? Because it's like, oh, we're just gonna plant this food plot, or we're gonna,
Yeah.
it's simple timber to, or bedding to food, and like sometimes, a lot of times when I talk to you or Jared, it's like I catch myself being like, dude, you're not thinking the stuff with like woodsmanship. You know what I mean? Like you've got to remember that. Like, yes, I know that they're going to go from point A to point B, but in between A and B makes a big difference. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I think we lose that a lot sometimes as Midwest guys. I would tell anybody that's listening here, we've both had a good amount of success, but man, I probably at some point, I'm sure you've probably seen my number come up on your phone, and be like, man, he's calling to ask me a damn question again. You know what I mean? So ask
Yeah,
questions and listen.
it's
So
it's just different wherever you're at. Like it's
oh
and
yeah,
and even the way that you hunt can be different wherever you're at. So you could really kind of in a lot of places dumb it down and make it really stupid simple and just like so you really have to walk 100 yards into a blind, 100 yards out, and you kill the deer. And like to be honest with you, I enjoy that sometimes. I enjoy it a lot sometimes. Just
because you've
setting it
worked your
up.
ass off compared to
Well,
us sometimes.
but at the same time, I think if I only did that, I think I would want to have a little more of it, the woodsmanship adventure, the bigger wood stuff. So I really enjoy having the yin and yang, if you will, of deer hunting, and it seems like I always start off too with the harder stuff, and then like as the season goes on, and it's so nice after you've been like
Yep.
sitting for so long just to go and have a nice,
Oh, I know.
relaxing. I don't want to call it easy, but easier physically and mentally
Yeah.
hunt than, you know what I mean?
Pretty nice to have your cameraman haul a bunch of
I
packs
think
of corn down for you,
I think
and then you kill a 160.
I think the opposite happens. Like I'll be the first to admit it with like me, like like you watch a lot of these 95% of your shows that people watch on YouTube now primarily are like out of the Midwest, right? So, and I honestly think they they've taught too much conservatism, meaning
Mm,
because I do, I think they have. Because I catch myself doing it's like if I would have went hard one or two other days this year, would I have shot that deer? Probably.
yeah.
I probably would have. It, and I think there's nuance to every situation, meaning, you can't do that on every deer, right? But that deer this year, yeah, I was probably too conservative.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think I think there's a special type of, I guess, experience. It's kind of a skill, but it's from experience, is to know when to step on the gas pedal and when not to.
Yep.
And I think people err on both sides of it. Like I see guys all the time that like they're like, oh, he's in there, I got it. And I'm like, dude, it's not right. Like he's
At the
not
right time.
super
Yeah.
killable right now. Like, don't go in there. Don't even hunt. It's not even worth it. Like you could kill him, but like you're probably not gonna. And then if you push, stomp on the gas now, you're not gonna have the opportunity later. And then it's the same thing. Like I've watched guys. I'm like, dude, go kill that deer, dude. Like go kill that deer like tonight. What are you doing? Like stop
Yep.
dicking around. Get in there. Like you need to be in there. And so I think over time you start to get a feel for when it's go time and when it's not. And I think I feel like I've gotten pretty good at that because like especially
I agree
with
with that.
limited time and traveling, it's like I only go when it's go time. Like I don't have
The
time.
last two times and I'm sure you've had others, but I remember was it last year? Was it last winter you killed the Ohio deer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was just
Yeah.
thinking about.
Yes, you told me I'm going, and what'd you do? You killed that deer, and then the Iowa deer this year. And see, that's with me. I always say this, but this was the first year I caught myself saying maybe I'm not saying like overall or general this isn't a bad thought process to be conservative, but I remember I might have been talking to you, might have been talking to Eric, I don't remember, but I was like, I'm I'm gonna be here. I've got all year, or I've got
Yeah.
many years to hunt this place.
Well,
And it's like, no, go kill that deer. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I've been fortunate to be so conservative. That's one thing I'm learning on my new farm. Um, I can't be as conservative as I used to be. I
Yeah.
just can't. I've got to go hit certain things, and I'm still learning when that hit time or that gas pedal, as you referred to it, is. But
When you
Well,
that's what
when
makes
you
it
said
fun.
you're being when you said you're being overly conservative, how were you giving him a couple days in between? What did that look like?
Man, so I'm I don't know if you look at like if you think about like Drury's app, Deercast or whatever. Like, here's the thing, just the context to me individually as a hunter is I've got two younger kids. Um, obviously, I have a full time job. It's like I don't have that many days anyway, so this is easy for me to say. But like, I'm literally picking. I probably hunted more this year than I did any year that I can remember in probably 8 or 9 years. But
that's usually
to
because
that
you're
point,
tagged out by
the last
mid-October.
few, yeah, yeah, the last few years, I've probably had 26 or 10 days, if that makes sense. So like 20 half sits at most. And so I'm picking like the best days, right? So I'm picking obviously what I think is the right win. I'll tell you in Kentucky, and a lot of states don't open as early as Kentucky, but one huge thing. So I'm a finance guy, so I do a lot of data on my day job. So I keep track of days like I've seen, whether I seen in person or on my trail camera, daylight movement. Humidity is huge, right? So I look for a combination, like in September, I look for a combination of cold front, right wind, and then humidity is huge for me. Um,
Are you
September,
looking? Are you looking for low
I would lay
humidity?
money on what's that?
Lower humidity?
Lower humidity.
Right.
Yep,
Okay. Yeah.
yep. And you think about it, like a deer in September in Kentucky, like a cold front day is like 65, even 70 degrees,
Yeah.
right? So when you think about a humidity, it's like that's huge to them, right? Because they're they're literally changing their testosterone. They're changing potentially the coat they're wearing.
Yeah.
And if a humidity is a 30% difference, probably makes a huge difference on their temperature as they walk
Yeah.
up and down a hill or whatever it is. So, yeah, I started noticing that when I was keeping data like back in 18 or 19. So I shot, it was this one had a deer called Captain Hook, which was on Cabela's whitetail season. Um, I shot him on a day where it rained in the morning and the humidity was super high, but as there was I guess it would have been a high pressure front moved in and the humidity,
Yeah.
he came out 2 hours early. And I started monitoring that. Now I think that drops off like in October. I don't think that's as big of a
Yeah.
factor, but I'll tell you, if you're in Kentucky or South Dakota or what's the other states that open in September, Kansas,
Yeah.
I mean, I would look at humidity.
You're
So,
actually one of the only people I've heard say that. And I remember you saying that way back in the day, and I was like, oh, okay. But also, like you said, there's not many people that are actually hunting in early September. So that's not like a, and
no,
I do think you're right. Probably as like September wears on, you get in October, like naturally it just gets less humid. Whereas in August and early September, it's super humid. So yeah, it probably is a big
I've
deal.
heard
And I think if it stayed hot the whole season, maybe people would be more tuned into that. But I know I don't look at it at all. But maybe I should. I
probably
don't.
don't need to once October rolls around. I've heard Mark Jury say it a few times
Oh,
now.
have you?
Not that I'm
Okay.
like some expert saying it before.
Yeah.
Uh, I just started noticing that because when I would pull up Weather Underground or whatever, it was one of the factors, and I correlated it on that Captain Hook hunt in 2018, and then I shot next year a deer named DT. It was October, but the humidity did go down. But then when I shot the deer at the drop tines,
Yeah.
step side, super low humidity that day, super low.
That's
So
pretty
it's got to be
interesting.
something.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of stuff. Like people are like, oh, I like high pressure, and then someone's like, I like cold front, and then it's like I like low humidity. It's like, well, a lot of times all three of those come together, right? And so like,
Yep,
but not always, not always. Sometimes you get them that are kind of outliers where they're independent of each other.
yep.
But yeah, no, I think when, and especially when you stack those factors and all the things together, and that's like for me, that's gas pedal time, especially if you're on a deer.
Yep.
When you have all those
Yep.
things. I've been
100%.
I know I've talked about this, but like some of the studies that say that like deer do not move on like some, like they don't, it makes no difference what the weather is when they move. I'm like, what are we doing that like, I see such dramatic differences in deer movement on like good weather fronts. It's like, what happened in that study?
Well, they're putting a collar on a deer, and nobody's saying he doesn't move up on my ridge.
Right,
I mean, nobody's saying that.
right.
I mean, he's moved. I'm not going to debate that. Does the deer I was hunting last year move on my ridge on every day? Probably.
Yeah,
We're talking about moving bigger areas of space
right. In
during
daylight,
daylight is what we're talking about.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
no doubt he's moving.
there's
So,
no way it's
yeah.
not a thing. There's no way it doesn't make a
No,
difference.
no. We've seen too much to know that's true. I mean, we don't. Yeah. I mean,
Well, even on
we've
like a
seen
food
too much.
source like late season, like okay, I hunted before the front because you never know, they may move in front of the front. You saw like 5 deer, and then you hunt like when the front hits or the day after, you see like 30 deer. It's like, like okay, like something's going on here,
How much are you liking late season now? You've
Oh,
had
I
a
love
couple.
late season.
I always say this. If I didn't have Kentucky, I swear to God, I'd like late season better.
I love late season. I
You get
think
the right,
it's
I know. If you get the right situation,
yeah,
it's
you got
better.
that's the thing though. You got to I mean, that's why like most of the time if I have access to good ground that's like private or I own it or whatever, like I'm kind of like thinking late season because if you
Waiting
have
food till late. Yep. Yep.
if you can control the pressure and you have the food, it's freaking lights out. It's lights out, especially
Sure
if
it
you know
is.
how to when to hunt it and how to hunt it. And so it's like if you have the food source and the weather and you haven't messed with the place, it's not guaranteed, but it's so deadly. It really is. It's and you can
Best time.
honestly you can call your shot
Yep.
because you look at the forecast, and I mean for the amount of late season bucks I've killed, and it's almost with tracking, it's very similar too. It's not food related, but you look at the weather and you go on those days when the snow conditions are perfect. But if you look at like say after November 25th to when we killed that deer January 14th.
Yeah.
If you look at all the bucks that I've killed in that time frame, I've probably averaged like 1 or 2 days per buck hunted. You know what I mean? Like I probably hunt. I don't know how many I've killed. I could count them, but it doesn't matter. But it's probably like 1.5 days or 2 days to bucks killed, and it's like because you can just the day and the situation. You're like, here we go, and it's more so than early season, more so than late October, more so than the rut for sure.
Yeah, like with the Ohio deer, we sat in the cabin for 2 days and then hunted the third day. So we're like, all right,
Yeah,
he showed up this morning, so there it is.
It was go time.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you track a deer, like deer have killed tracking, you're just waiting for that situation. Obviously, it's a little bit different. Food and a low pressure thing is different than tracking, but it's no different the fact that you're waiting for that weather front and that snow and the condition you need, and when you get it, you go in and you can be ultra successful in 1 day. Oh, look, a ladybug. But and you can do some of that too. The rut's probably the time of year where you can't really, you just got to be out there.
Man, I am struggling these last 5 or 6 years with like I'm not enjoying is like that's way too tough of a term, but we talk about this like with what we do. Like I don't get me wrong. I mean, I get pumped and everything and go out in November, but it's harder for me to get in the mindset compared to early and late season. It's just tough because
Just because things aren't as predictable.
that, but it kind of that it's twofold. It's that, and then I would tell everybody on here. We can come back to this in a minute. Like buy your own ground is just financially, personally, everything. But like when you go out there, like think about it. You go out there and you spend all this time like on a tractor doing this or that, and then it's not that you don't take your chainsaw and do TSI or whatever you do that would help in November, and it helps all times of the year. But I'm just saying, like, spend a lot of time doing food plots, fertilizing, doing this, and it's like I want to kill that deer. I tell you this all the time. I want to kill that deer on that food plot because I went out there, worked my ass off, and planted it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like that's just one hypothetical example, but it's just one of those. It's like it to me personally. It gives me a higher sense of gratification because I'm like, he came to something I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe I'll get that when I go and cut, my ridge, and I shoot that, whatever deer that is up there in that thicket. Like maybe I will. I'm just saying right now
Yeah.
I'm at one of those stages where like this is where I want to do it, and so
I think
that's why like late season is like awesome too because it's like they need that and they're coming there, and so
yeah, and you've been planning it for 11 months
yep.
for that situation. I think the rut for me is, and I hunt it every year hard, but it's tough mentally because you don't have that day, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, well, you go in and you're like, all right, like could happen today or it might not even happen in 3 weeks, and you just like literally have no.
Especially for you guys up there when you gotta sit and not see the volume of deer.
Yeah, yeah,
You gotta be even worse. You
yeah,
know?
but it's still the same thing where like you're just like, where is this deer right now? I swear half the time I sit in the stand in November, I'm like, I just wish where is he? Like, I just want to know where he is. He doesn't have to come in. I just want to know where he is.
Yeah.
I don't care if I kill him. I just want to know where he's
Yeah, I just want to know.
Have like
Yeah.
a beacon or something.
Yeah, it's like, all right, he's over there.
Like,
Cool.
yeah.
Like, he's 2 miles away, but like, all right, he's up on that. Or that's fine. Like, I just like, where is this thing? Like, and you sit there and
It
you're like,
drives you
man,
crazy because we all, whether we want to admit it or not, you always hear the "my deer" term, "my
Yeah.
deer." You know, it's like, oh, well, this guy's gonna kill my deer. It's like you have no control over it.
no.
Whereas early and late, you feel like you have some control.
You can influence them in a big way. You can,
Yeah,
for sure.
and so
During the rut,
yeah,
I don't know. Although it is some of the best times to hunt them too, like to kill a deer.
Yeah.
It can be
yeah.
great, but also it's tough. I mean, if I look back at like the deer I've killed lately, and I look at how many were during the rut, and how many were early and late, I've been killing way more deer early and late than in the rut.
Yep.
Like pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, if I look like, yeah, I mean, you're talking September 1st to November 1st, and then like, say November 25th or whatever till the end of the season. Like, I mean,
it gets addicting too, like that. That's kind of to my point. Like, God, this is gonna come out horrible, but you'll get what I'm saying. Like, for me, where I'm at with hunting, like I get more gratification during that time period. Nothing wrong with, I mean, and don't get me wrong, in my opinion, there's not near as long a time as people say there is. You'll see people, whether they wrote a magazine article or say on YouTube, whatever. Oh, well, once November hits, that deer could be 2 miles away. I only think there's a short period of time deer does that, in my opinion.
yeah, I would agree.
Depending on how much ground
Yep.
you're on.
Yep.
But still, to my point was, for whatever reason, myself, I get more gratification in that early and late season, just where I'm at, and nothing against, I'm not taking away anybody that kills a really good deer or any deer in November. I'm not taking that away. I can only speak for myself. I get more gratification early or late.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, dude. If I shoot one of these deer
Yeah.
in November, I'm not going to be crying about it.
No.
Yeah.
I think you just brought up a good point, though. I do think that a lot of times, even in November, the bucks are still. I think they're still spending the majority of their time where they always have been. I think that's a big misconception. Yep. They definitely are moving more and they're ranging, but I still think they're in their core.
Yeah, we talked with Ty about that last week too.
Yeah, more than people think. I don't think they're literally just completely randomly all over, like 2 miles that way, this way. I do think they do that sometimes, and they get with the doe, and they'll spend 2-3 days 2 miles away. But I think they come back, and I think I think that's a good point.
Agree.
So you're probably more in the game than you think, but it is so random, even within their core area. You just don't like what trail they're going to walk. Like, when are they going to walk it? It could be any time, night or day. You just don't really, the bed to food thing is like not really a thing that time of year. Like you don't even hardly see does coming to food, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of shooting in the dark. The main strategy, in my opinion, is just pick a good spot and just be there as much as you can be.
Yep.
To be honest, like, that doesn't take a whole lot of skill or strategy other than mental fortitude, and you have to be able to pick a good spot. But yeah,
I know.
so I can.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a study too where they, with the technology we have, sure they can have a video, which is you probably make you all laugh, but it's like I would love to know, like, for instance, the buck on my property. Like, I'm fairly certain he, I'm fairly certain he killed a younger deer of ours. I had a video, just quick context of what I'm going at here. I had a video or a trail camera picture of him and this younger buck locked up. Then 2 days later, I got a picture with the younger buck's eye socket. You saw the picture, completely bloody, eye
Yeah.
gone. But I'd love, you know, have a study where they're like, how many does, like, if there's, I'm just hypothetically, let's just use this 15 does that frequent my ridges. Like, how many of those does is he really breed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good
Um,
question.
It'd be a great, because then if somebody could do a study like that, like you could collar my buck and collar the does. I know this is a pipe dream, but
Yeah.
they could probably do it to an abbreviated scale. Like, how many of those does is he really breeding? Because that would tell you how much time he's up on his feet looking for the next one,
Right.
right? It'd be super interesting like that because you hear everybody say, "Oh, he's the dominant buck." Okay, yeah, he probably is, but
He's only got
how
one
dominant
dick.
is he? That's pretty, I feel like that might be your intro right there. That's right. That's my point. So, like, how many does
Right.
can he really breed in that time period? And therefore, how much time is he on his feet? So,
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good. I always think too. They say you don't see it very often, but like that. I guess I just haven't observed it enough to really be able to speak on it. But like they say that like those doe groups come in heat in a similar time frame. But like
yeah.
you don't see like bucks chasing multiple does. It seems like they're always peeled off. So like if that one is hot
Yeah.
and the other one her fawn from 2 years ago is hot, or her sister, whatever
Right.
relation, if she's hot too, the does aren't going very far. So like where's the other ones? Like you see these does that are part of like a 5 doe family group, and it's like the other ones in heat too.
Yeah.
Where are they? Like there's 4 bucks on this one, but like where's all the other does? I don't know. I always wonder how that works.
That's my point. Like the deer that I had, Tatum's buck, he would have been like a great deer to let a biologist like collar or something because he was so visible, yada yada. So how many pictures I had of him, dude. He was gone for like 2 days in November. So think about that on 66 acres. And I'm running a decent amount of cameras. There's only 2 days in November I didn't get a picture of him.
Oh really?
2 days.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
2 days.
it?
And so
Holy
I'm
crap.
like,
That's yeah.
it makes you wonder, like, how many does did he breed? How far is he going? Does that make sense? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I know
He
there's
might
deer
have
with
bred them
bigger
all
ranges that
somehow if he was not there every day.
what's that?
He might have bred them all somehow
Yeah,
if he was there every day.
he might have multiple dicks. I don't know.
I have some inbred deer on your place.
Yeah, it's interesting. That rut time frame is just like it's
Yeah.
hard to mentally. I feel like that's the only time of year where I just feel like sometimes I'm like I don't even know what's going on right now or what I'm doing. I'm just like I don't know. Like you just like I like don't have any confidence, but I'm like talk myself in to just keep going because whatever. It's like it doesn't matter, dude. Like it just keep going. Like just keep hunting and keep putting the time in. Whereas like other times
Isn't
of
it
year,
so
it's like
crazy?
the complete opposite.
It's so crazy as you go, like, we would consider ourselves like serious, somewhat seasoned hunters, right? And as you after you hunt, going into year 20, 25 of hunting, you get you think when you start, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for November. And
Yep.
now you're like,
Yep.
it's the time where you feel the least
Yep.
confident. It's
100%.
so insane. But that's what makes hunting whitetail so much fun right there.
Yeah.
That's one of the things is because
Oh,
I
I
don't know,
used to
man. I feel
think
like,
the rut
yeah,
was like, and I still do before the rut. I get all fired up, and then as I go on, I'm like, yeah, this. I forgot that 10 years ago I learned
this
this isn't
sucks.
all it's cracked up to be.
Mm.
It's like,
No, I think that's where you go. Where that I was talking to my buddies, you know, and it's like, man, that's when we should do our deer camp. We should just go somewhere fun. We're not worried about chasing after this deer, or that. Go after our deer, your deer in New York, my deer in Kentucky, and just meet up somewhere in November because it's like it just takes the stress away. Where you're like,
I
oh
know.
my gosh.
The
So
only problem I have is even though it's random and it's tough, that is still the best time to kill, I think, a mountain
they're
buck.
moving. Yep, I know.
Just because
I know.
you need them to move super long distances
Yeah.
in daylight, and that's like the only time of year they're really doing that. If
And,
But that
and
doesn't
in
mean
all
that I could just maybe some year I'll take a year off from hunting those things. I don't know. Go
And
do
in all
something.
seriousness, a lot of the stuff we've talked about still applies in November for a
Yeah,
decent portion of it. Like it's still good weather, you're still on the wind. I mean, the does are still going to eat somewhere, right? I mean, not necessarily in daylight, but
right.
I mean, it's not like it's it. If anything, it's added movement that makes it harder.
Yeah,
So
added
yeah,
randomness.
yeah,
So,
no.
what's your plan for this? Have you thought about other than trying to kill that buck? Are you going to do anything? Maybe hunt Ohio again?
I'm definitely gonna go to our place in Ohio.
Yep.
Just new place, it is. Try to. Um, we're gonna meet with a logger, so I might not know what it's like. I might only know it after logging. So
Right.
I know it's. It seems to me like it's a nice little travel quarter right now. It's obviously thick in certain spots, but so who knows? It might end up sucking. Who knows? We have a place in Indiana where we have permission. Buddy I own ground with. It was so Indiana, southern Indiana, and specifically southeastern Indiana got absolutely massacred by EHD. They found several deer. I didn't personally. They found two different Boone and Crockett deer in velvet dead up there.
Mm.
You could Google search southeastern Indiana. So, anyways, why I'm saying that is we've got a nice 80 up there, really nice setup that like the deer population overall was down, but I left some cameras up there and I went and pulled them, and it was like, dude, I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? Like we should have been up there. There were some nice deer. Like it was for whatever reason the deer population was down, but the type of bucks that I'm going after, like there was like four or five, like not mega giants, anything, but nice deer. So I'm kind of into that too. That guy lets us we got about 5 acres that we could plant there. So I'm definitely going to key in on that place. I do think there's going to be one really nice deer up there next year. So I'm going to key in on that. Like I said, I'm going to be into my deer. The lady that we bought the ground from in Kentucky um, owns a ton of ground down there, and she's told us we can hunt it. So we have a small little house. Speaking of deer camp, we have a small little house. We've almost got finished. It's only a little 900, basically like a two-bedroom apartment. It's what it is. Um, it's a house, but we want to get that finished, and hopefully, like some of you guys want to come down in November or something,
Yeah.
have that. But yeah, Indiana, Kentucky. I'll definitely put a little time in Ohio. Of course, our mutual buddy Jared. We kind of trade. Me and my buddy Eric that I own ground with trade hunts with Jared. So uh plan on going to my place, but if uh if Jared calls me and has some unique situation, I might go up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to make my way up your all's way.
Well, I think this
So
spring you're going to make a little trip.
yeah, Yeah, for sure.
At least see what it's about. Although where you're coming is more similar to where you're coming from than where we're sitting
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah. I know.
That's okay. All right. Well, it's getting late. I'm actually headed out there in the morning. So,
Are you really?
yeah, we're going to head out. We got kid vacation week, and then when I go out there, kids vacation week. When do you have your kids out have a vacation?
Yeah.
Or is it
March 21st to the 28th, whatever the Monday through Friday in those 20s are.
of
So,
March?
yeah, we're always March down here,
Oh,
man.
okay.
So, actually, my uncle Rick that I referenced earlier, he actually lives in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So,
Yeah.
he owns some rental homes down there. So, we're going down there. Hopefully, not a big fishing guy. I don't mind fishing, but
Yeah.
I think me and him are going fishing.
Oh, nice.
So,
I wonder why
yeah, yeah.
it's a month difference. That's weird. Yeah, ours
I
is
don't
next
know, man.
week. I also
Next
think
week,
you go. When do your kids go back to school?
like in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine go back. So like a lot of the public schools in Indiana do what they call a year-round school, where their summer gets. My kids go to private school, but the summer gets condensed to 6 weeks, but they get 2 weeks for fall, what they call fall, like usually in October. Get a few days off Thanksgiving, but then they get 2 weeks in Christmas, and then 2 weeks on spring break.
Oh, okay.
Mine don't. Mine go back like first week of August.
The first week.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so that's way different
So,
because we go like the last week in
Yeah.
August, first few days in
yep.
September.
No, we're
Yeah, we get
early.
out
It's
like
I remember when I was in school, I was going back like I felt like it was the first week of September.
Dang. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably why. I figured it was this
Yeah.
close, but no, I guess it's all different. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's so funny how everything's changing. They just on Friday, of course down there this would be more appropriate because you guys are less equipped to deal with snow, but 4 or 5 inches is just like it's every week here. It's
Nothing.
like whatever.
Yeah.
And there was 4 or 5 inches in the forecast on Friday, and they just like let the kids go early because like it might snow, and it wasn't even really. I mean, I guess it started snowing, but it was like that's weird. It's just
Yeah.
it's changed.
We have 4 or 5 inches down here. They're shutting school down for 2 days at least. So,
we had kids driving snowmobiles to school
Did you?
at my high school. Yeah, there was
I
a lot of kids that did that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, all right,
you guys
Joe.
are,
Thanks for
you
coming
guys
on.
are welcome to come down in turkey season. You know that.
Yep.
So,
If I can come up with some time.
yeah.
I'm thinking about headed down. I don't know. It just depends what we got going on the farms and what we got. What it
Yeah.
depends on is when is the snow going to be gone and when is stuff going to dry out enough to do anything. And if
Yep.
it doesn't dry out and there's turkey seasons open, when it's still wet, I'll probably go turkey hunt somewhere. But if it dries out early, I'm going because I got a lot to do. So, yeah, maybe I'll be
I hear
down.
ya.
So, we'll talk. Stay in touch.
I hear you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You guys too.
We will see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It's winter, and I'm ready for it to be over at this point. But, yeah, this conversation got me wanting to get outside and do deer stuff. But, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one, guys. We'll see you in the next one.